Alright, so since last time, I've been playing around a bit with web development, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of recreate what I'm eventually going to do here in using HTML and JavaScript. So this is kind of what I want to go for. You can see the snow has a bit of drift to it, and here it's just a real basic way to change the wind speed. So if the wind speed is 0, we have this kind of drifting snow left and right, and then as we increase the snow speed, you can see this is simulating a breeze to the right. We could also have negative values for one to the left, but as you increase it, it becomes more and more sort of blizzard-like. And if we were to lower it back down to 0, it goes back to drifting. And that's pretty much what we want to try to accomplish here. So to begin with, let's start with just adding a bit of drift, not worrying about any kind of wind or wind variable or wind system, just adding a bit of drift to the snowflakes. And we can achieve that by assigning each of these snowflakes as they're spawned a new value that we're going to call, let's call it just snow dir for direction. And we want this to do one of three things. Either a snowflake is going slightly to the left, it's going straight down, or it's going to the right. So we need three different possible outcomes. So we can use irandom again, and again use 2, and this will return either 0, 1, or 2. So now when each of these snowflakes are spawned by this controller, they will be assigned a 0, 1, or 2 for snow direction. And now let's use that in the step event to decide what the snowflake is going to do. So let's say if it's 0, it'll go to the left. If it's 1, it'll go straight down. And if it's 2, it'll go to the right. So starting with the case of 0, check if snow dir is equal to 0. All we're going to do is give that snowflake just a little bit of drift to the left. So let's do its x value. We will use, and I know here I could have done plus equals. I know a lot of people have a preference for that, but just to keep things very simple, for the sake of being able to see every single step of what's going on in the code, I'm going to keep using this kind of format here. So let's do idx equals idx minus 1. And now for the event that snow dir equals 1. And in this instance, we're not really going to do anything. Not for now, anyway. This can be modified later. We can have this do different things depending on wind speed and things like that. But for now, it's just not going to change anything. That snowflake is just going to keep falling straight down. And the only other outcome there could be is that snow dir would equal 2. So there's really no need to actually write the event here, or write the comparison of snow dir to 2. We can just say the only other event there is, the only other outcome there is that this equals 2, so we don't really need to worry about comparing it to anything. So in here, all we're doing is pretty much the opposite of this. It's going to have a slight bias to the right. So that snowflake will equal itself plus 1. Let's go ahead and save that and see what it looks like. Okay, and just like we wanted, we have a bit of drift now. Some snowflakes are going to the left, and some are going to the right, and some are going straight down. But the only issue here now is that when they're leaving the screen to the left or to the right, they aren't coming back, because there's nothing resetting their x values to reappear back on the screen. we have this outside the room event that will reset the y coordinate if the object goes outside the room, but nothing for resetting the x. So if the snowflake is going to be respawned at 0 for its y coordinate, but the x coordinate is negative 152 way off the screen, we're not going to be able to see it. So for now, let's try doing this. If it goes outside the room, it's going to be respawned back at the top of the screen, and it's going to be respawned with a new random x coordinate totaling the length of the room. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, and so now we have this drifting snow, and it's respawning back at the top of the screen properly, whether it's going left or whether it's going right. And although this does work, there's still some flaws with this system. It's very, let's say, top heavy right now. That is, if a snowflake goes off the screen toward the top of the screen, it's just instantly being reloaded somewhere along the 0 y coordinate, but somewhere along the x coordinate too. So there's, although it's not really that discernible with this relatively small window and this relatively low resolution, we have a higher concentration of snowflakes at the top than we do at the bottom. And again, it looks fine for what we're trying to achieve with this, but it could definitely be made better. So that's something to consider as we move forward. But so is doing some more just in general with this whole system. Why not have, like I showed you with the HTML project, a wind variable, and something like a cover system where if you have, say, this is a 2D platformer, if you have some kind of platform here, when the snowflakes come into contact with that platform, they are deleted, so that there's some cover under here where the snow isn't falling. Basically, it operates like a roof. And we'll add some more things like that as we keep moving along, but just a real basic, simple update for this new video.